The next Junji Ito story that is coming our way is looking very promising, so let's jump into it. This guy is what someone would call a horror extraordinaire, especially in the manga industry. And in his visceral illustrations and grisly tales for gruesome kids, what a show, lots of childhood trauma. It's clear to see why he has set such a good benchmark for aspiring horror authors. I mean, his style is just noticeable from a mile away, to the point where people get tattoos of his work. Now, when it comes to translating his style to anime, it's definitely been met with a lot of polarizing opinions. Feel free to subscribe, trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and it would mean the world. Anyway, enjoy the video. I myself have talked about Junji Ito in the past, and obviously people have their own takes on the execution of the collection anime series. I'm personally not the biggest fan. Honestly, I've seen so many terrible films in my lifetime that I can't put the Junji Ito collection on par with those, because there are redeeming moments in these seasons and I can genuinely see why people enjoy them. But I just really struggled to associate Ito, who again has so much talent, with a series that just doesn't completely capture his essence. I feel like I have to reiterate that I actually do like Ito and I respect his craftsmanship alongside the hard work that animators put into this series. I just am a bit unsure on the choice of studio. A job is a job. I said this in my other video. However, speaking of studios, Uzumaki, one of Ito's arguably most popular books, the one with a lot of spirals, this got picked up by none other than Adult Swim in collaboration with Production IG, all in order to make something no one really expected to come out. And this was set up pre-COVID, hence the many delays. It was surprising at first, because when you think of Adult Swim, you don't think of horror anime adaptations. I mean, you think of like Pickle Rick and Robot Chicken. However, when they released their initial teaser, people started to get interested. That is probably the point of a teaser, to be fair. But maybe like another option could be just to experiment and like just take away the colour from a lot of these stories and just keep it a deep contrast black and white version of the show. It's like how a lot of films will have their own black and white version. Well, my god, they did it. And it looks gorgeous. It's not known whether this was made purely to the response to the negative reaction that the Ito collection got, or if the studio just decided, hey, we're gonna make something that just encapsulates everything Ito is, like just for the sake of doing it, for doing it justice. And the director they chose was Hiroshi Nagahama, who also made Mushishi, so off the bat, the news is looking pretty good. So with the new trailer coming out, I thought, you know what? Let's check this out together. I have to cover this first. The art style hit the nail on the head so goddamn hard. Just straight up, it looks like you're watching the pages of Uzumaki actually move. I mean, they already do that, but like, you know, we get a teaser of the music by Colin Stetson. I've never even heard of Colin before, and then after I've seen the trailer, I've checked out his stuff, and it was like such an unexpected take on what I would originally think Uzumaki, the world of Uzumaki to be, but after listening, it just fits it so well. When I listen to the track, it's so tonally rich, it's very cold, very ambient, and it really makes you feel like your brain is just turning into spaghetti. He's good on a saxophone, he's very good. There's so much emphasis on sinuous lines and shading, there's detail where detail needs to be. There's no colour, and that's absolutely perfect. I mean, you don't see Ito using colour that often, so it's only fair. When it comes to animation, the colour department have such a painstakingly difficult job because of how long it takes to colour each and every frame of a sequence. Animation studios need hundreds of people working in tandem to make these effects work. It's a really good thing to remove colour from the situation entirely, because this should give Studio IG more time to work on the attention and the execution of the story and its visceral horror elements, which already look way better than this. Sorry, to me, it just does. And that's just because the Uzumaki anime is so heavily influenced by its source material, like down to the art style, to the visualization of emotion. The way the characters move, how their facial expressions are crafted. I wouldn't be surprised if they used real actors to study from, because you can see these tiny, minute details in these characters, and you're just like, I would have never seen that before, I would have never noticed that before, but now it's there. it just totally makes sense. There's so many details in animation that do go amiss, and it's like Shuichi's reaction to the siren, to the sound, how his hands come up to tighten his face when he's irritated, how he slightly shakes his head. These are other small things you need in a horror anime. Horror and drama in general, because emotion is one of those tools you can use to elicit a reaction from your audience. And what better way to do it in animation, because you have so much more leniency. And that's something that's been used in horror film for years, the wide eyes and the crazy mouths, crazy faces. That's always been done because it makes you feel something. Even her eyes spin a little when he's talking about the spirals, like that's just insane. That's ridiculous. And if anyone can make the characters expressive, it's Studio IG. I mean, they've got a pretty good portfolio of just a lot of emotional characters, emotional wrecks. I was looking through the comments of the teaser and like someone noticed a droplet fall from Saito's dad's chopsticks after he stirs the fish soup. That's outrageous. I know it's just a droplet, it's probably not that big of a deal, but like it's just that tiny little bit of extra detail that you just don't get, and you're getting it. It's a detail you just wouldn't think to see, but now you've seen it, it makes you wonder, what else are they going to do with the actual scary things? After seeing this, I and probably a lot of people have realised that every single aspect of the frame in this anime is going to be important. There's going to be so many tiny moments where you're like, oh, okay. And it's going to warrant so many more rewatches because you can just notice all of these little aspects that you wouldn't have noticed before. Yeah, I'm just excited for this, honestly, and the time it's taken to produce it, I think has been absolutely warranted, and I don't think there's any rush for it to be made. I think it just should take as much time as is needed to make it as good as possible, because this book, it's been out for a long time, a decade now, I think, and it needs something, a good representation, something that really does Junji Ito justice, and seeing this, it fills me with hope. That's a very dangerous thing when it comes to films and TV, isn't it? It's a very dangerous thing, but we can only hope, can we? Anyway, if you have any comments or any sort of thoughts about the teaser, just throw them down in the comment section because I'd love to talk about this more. So, yeah. Anyway, take care. I can't wait for this to come out, honestly. Like, it's going to be so good. Damn. Damn.